All right, you're live. Welcome to Getting Real. I am your host, Monique Hom. And on the show, we talk about all sorts of real things about investing in real estate. And today, I want to share some transformational highlights, some lessons, some takeaways I got from the Invest Like a Woman event that we had last week, last Thursday through Saturday. December 5th through 7th, we hosted the Invest Like a Woman event, virtual event. It was fire. And there were some takeaways that I want to share. I think these are transformational lessons that are important for every investor, especially women, to know. And so let's get into it. Let's share these really cool lessons. So one of the big takeaways, and that I mean, this is something that I know, but it really hit home for me through this 3 days was the power of sisterhood. At the event, we witnessed how much women can accomplish when we support and lift one another. So it was everything from our incredible VIP event where women were able to come on and like tap into this network. And it was a network representing literally billions of dollars worth of real estate transactions and probably a couple hundred years worth of real estate experience, and just say, hey, I need this, right? Or this, I need to connect with this person. A really powerful question to ask is who, not how. So who do I need that can help me accomplish my goals, get me to the next level? And so we had a really powerful finding your who session. And so we were able to tap into this really powerful network, but also the sisterhood that was created during the event. I make two promises about that event. So one of the promises was I promise that by the end of this 3 days, you're going to know more about real estate investing than 90% of other folks out there. And then I checked in at the end to make sure that I'd kept that promise and it was unanimous that I had. And the other promise was I promise that by the end of this, you're going to feel like you have dozens of new sisters, all of the women there. And we did create that. So there's this real power for women when you come together and you feel like you're in a sisterhood, this supportive, uplifting, co-elevating, not catty, gossipy, backstabbing, but really like we know that when one of us rises, we all rise. And that was there. There were it was co-creation, partnerships started, friendships made. It was really powerful. So the real lesson here is that real estate is not a solo game, and leaning into sisterhood and community is a superpower that will unlock your true potential. So that was a huge, huge takeaway. So another takeaway came from is about the power of yes. The power of yes. So we did two exercises during this event. One that I've done multiple times at different events, and I know every time we do it, it is incredibly powerful. And not just because half of the people end up in tears from the power, the power of that exercise. But there was a new one that I'd never done before. I did it for the first time, and again, it like showed me the power of yes in a different context. So the first yes exercise that we did and that I've done before is about one of the parts of the goddess secret sauce. So we shared 6 parts of the goddess secret sauce, and one of those parts has to do with saying yes to all of it, saying yes to the whole journey, even those parts that we want to say no to, even the parts you think, oh my, how could I say yes to that? right? Like there's a lot of things I can say yes to, but not that. Never that. And so we did this exercise, and it's simple and profound, but we just there's a lot of embodied yes to in thinking about that thing that we're saying no to, just being in yes. So it was a communal yesing where we're yesing our own things and also yesing each other. And as we do that, there's a point in which that exercise where you go somehow through what we're doing with our bodies and our voices and in sisterhood and community, that no transmutes into a yes. And when that no transmutes into a yes, the crap from that event, the the poop, it alchemizes to gold. From that, you're able to take, because everything that happens in your life has blessings for you, has gifts, no matter how painful, no matter how horrible, there are gifts in it. And until you get to that, yes, you can't really take those gifts. You can't alchemize them. And so to help you get to your greatest next level, your greater next to be. But this exercise, like you and you can see it in people's faces, and then the tears start to flow, that they get into that alchemy, they find the gold. And so we did that, and that was powerful, like always. And definitely we needed lots of tissues to deal with that, because when you hit something really true and real, the tears start to flow, right? So that was one of the yeses. But the other yes that I'd never done before, and I thought, I'd done it in a different context. So it's improv. We're talking about creativity, the power of creativity in real estate investing. I had a Getting Real episode recently about that. But one of the things that's um, helpful in creativity, and one of the exercises that I decided to do, had never done before, was around improvisation. So, like comedic improv, when comedians are out there, they're doing improv. The number one rule when you're doing improv is whatever anybody says, you go, yes. If you're going to switch it up, you go, yes, and not no. I don't have there's no tiger. It's like, yes, there's a tiger, and it has a clown nose on it, whatever it is. And the person goes, yes, it does have a clown nose. And right. So that's the beauty of improv, and something very funny and magical happens in that yes and I decided to try this exercise. Like, let's do that yes and put a group together, and we'll in each little group, we had breakout rooms. They would go in and like have a potential deal. All right. Oh, we have a retreat center in Greece. And the next person would be like, yes. And it's on the beach, and we have surf lessons for everybody that stays there. Yes, and we also have crafting exercise, right? And it's like, yes, and we're doing this for the employees. Yes, and right, and as was every group, and so I did a little exercise and then sent them off into the breakout rooms, and they came back with the energy through the roof. Everybody's smiling from ear to ear, going, "Oh my gosh, that was so fun!" And then half of them going, "Well, how do we get started on this this thing that we co-created just now in this exercise? Because I want to do it, right?" But that game of yes, the playing with yes, 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 and so one of the things that we need that I it really hit home for me is that power of being a yes, being in an acceptance, being a like taking what comes and seeing how we can expand on it. Yes, and was so powerful. So that it just, and especially in the context of a team. right? Because sometimes their team members will be like, no, we can't do that because, no, we can't do that because, no, we can't do it. So instead of being in your limitations, playing with the yes and really opens you up to what's more, what the more. So that it creates momentum. It's co-creation. It's connecting. It's enlivening. So it's a powerful reminder of how real estate is a team sport and that we can do so much more if we show up with a playful, positive, expansive attitude. So the key lesson is ultimately the power of saying yes, both to our challenges and within the context of collaboration. It can transform our perspectives and it will amplify our results. So that was a lesson. Number 3 had to do with the opportunities that are ahead. So we had some great speakers and panelists. We had Kathy Fettke from the Real Wealth Network come in and talk about what is going on in the economy. So if you follow Kathy Fettke at all, and you totally should, if you haven't yet, she's always gathering up what economists are saying, and what the reports are sharing, and then stating it in a way that makes sense for investors. A lot of times different reports will come in and the news headlines will say something that was very clickbait and yet inaccurate for what is important for us, right? So I will give an example, right? So when and this was one thing I remember from her talk, that in 2000, maybe it was 2012, she was on the news debating um, Schiller, I think the Schiller index, and the property values were at the floor at that point. And so they were on the news debating, is now a good time to buy or not? And he was like, no, property values are falling. You shouldn't buy now. And she was like, property values are at the tank. Of course you should, especially if it's, if you're cash flowing. I'm talking about cash flowing real estate. It's cash flowing great. So you should definitely buy now. And she was right. It was the bottom. The prices started to go back up, but when you're about cash flow, it actually doesn't matter where the valuation is unless you're trying to buy and sell. And then there's a lot of fear too. People are like, yeah, we're in this recession. It's going to be like 2008. And looking at the numbers, we're not in a recession at all. The economic fundamentals are completely different than 2008. What happened then is not about to happen now. Borrowers are extremely qualified as opposed to back then when all you needed was a pulse for the past. Since then, it's not been easy. You have to have been well qualified um, in order to get a house. Foreclosures are at a low, and the market indicators. It's just there's jobs, there's growth, the economy is growing. We're not in a recession, even though for some people, because of inflation, it can feel like harder because there was a lot of inflation and job income has increased a lot, but not quite to the level of inflation. So it can feel like you're being squeezed. But for real estate, though, the fundamentals are still very strong. Inventory is low. So that was a interesting to look at, and it was a reminder too of the importance of where you're getting your information and who you're hearing it from, because sometimes there'll be a headline like, whoa, the sky is falling, because people are a lot more likely to look at that kind of article, that freaks them out, makes them anxious. Oh my gosh, I need to know why the sky is falling and how I can save myself. Um, and they take these facts come out of context. So it's really important that you are getting information, and that's why I love. I'm so excited that we have people like Kathy that we can bring in, and um, that can be part of our network. Is that we can get relevant information and make informed decisions. We also had a CPA, we had a lender, mortgage broker there, and we're asked them both, our CPA, Marie Grassmeyer, our lender, Donna Lund, both who've been in the business for multiple decades. What what do you foresee coming with this new administration? What do you see happening in 2025? So the the consensus was that there'll be lower taxes, probably lower interest rates, continued market growth. We're not in a recession, and the key lesson is that this is a really great time to take advantage of favorable market conditions and position yourself for success. There, as rates go up, there will be opportunities, but also, we had discussions about demographic trends. Actually, that's my next point, about these like market trends to watch, where there's a massive transfer of wealth that's going to be happening as baby boomers transition and leave their wealth to millennials, who are driving demand for housing right now. And so, as we look at the demographics, as we look at what's going on in the economy and these micro trends, we're seeing that opportunity really exists. This is a great time to get into the market when you can, but you really want to make very informed, educated decisions, because there's not it's not like the heyday before 2008 crash, where it was super easy to get lending, where there was plenty of inventory. Things have shifted. So, mistakes are costlier, and it's important to get the right education so that you can make really informed decisions. So that was that. And then one last takeaway from the event, which is about adapting to change. So, multiple of our speakers and panelists talked about AI and how they are using artificial intelligence in terms of finding deals, analyzing deals, closing deals, attracting attracting potential buyers or properties, and certain traditional methods for acquiring properties, acquiring these opportunities, are becoming less effective, and making, it's really important to be adaptable. It's really important to have those key skills of AI, so we can stay ahead of the curve and embrace the education technology to navigate the evolving real estate market. So those are the main takeaways we got. There's so much more. It's really such a full event. It was really incredible, and I'm grateful to each of the speakers and the panelists, and each woman who showed up and gave her precious time to be there. It was really beautiful, and and this was a invest like a woman event. And I have my future is female, and one of the things we talked about is, because women are not just smaller, less hairy men. Investing like a woman, investing as a woman, investing from the feminine it's we're different in terms of how we show up to money and investing, and it's really important that we can be aware of those differences. We take advantage of those differences so we can show up in a way that invites in ease, grace, and flow for us. Right? There's incredible things that can happen when we're in alignment with that, and so we shared about that plus so much more. If you are wanting to get the recordings for this event, then it is not too late. I will put a link in the chat for you to sign up. A VIP ticket included included recordings. It was a $294 ticket, but now you can just for $97 you can get the recordings and be able to access all that wonderful information. So I will put a link in the chat in a bit. Also, and otherwise, I want to end with our famed end of show Trinity, which is a brag, a gratitude, and a desire. So first off, I brag the Invest Like a Woman event. I brag, before every event, I really pray and I sit there and I pray to my angels and I ask, like, angels, I want you to whisper in the ear of every woman who's meant to be there, and I want you to, um, like, the whoever's soul is meant to be at this event shows up, and I brag that because of that, I think we always have this incredible group of women that show up to the events, and it's fun and it's life changing. It's really transformational. It's very educational, but more than education and information, because information is everywhere these days. But what is not easy to find is transformation, and I believe that the event was transformative for the people that showed up and played full out. So I brag. I brag. And I am grateful for all of the women who attended. As I said, I'm grateful for the speakers and panelists. I'm grateful for the women who showed up. And I'm so grateful for my team. I have this incredible team. I had an event team and I have a real estate investor goddesses team. I definitely don't do this alone. And I am grateful that I was able to co-create that. And um, I desire more women to say yes to investing in real estate, the opportunities, the communities. I desire more women to join us and the real estate investor goddesses and our sisterhood here. That's my desire. So if that's your desire too, then send me a DM and let me know, and we'll hop on a call, or you can hop on a call with one of my teams to see about joining us. So that is it. In just like summary of things that I take away. I hope you do too. The power of sisterhood, the power of yes, that what's going on in the economy and adapting to change and being able to like bring in new technology is what is going to bring you to the next level. So um, again, if you're curious about more about the event, you want to get a hold of the recordings. I think I'm going to put it under, I think if you go to reigoddessesevent.com and grab a VIP ticket, then you will be able to get a VIP ticket for 97, and that will give you the recordings. All right, that's it for me. Thanks for getting real with me. Let's get real. Let's say yes and stay real. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.